Well, hi everybody. Yep, it's a beautiful Florida day. What do we got? Today's like the 16th of April. It is a beautiful Florida day. No breeze hardly. Temperature is 77 degrees. Oh, gorgeous. These guys even think so with their convertible. We are going on another ride upside adventure. There, that's probably a little better. It's kind of noisy. This one is going to be a little bit of a follow-up to one that I've done before. What we're doing is, well, we did the Boca Grande Railroad video. Well, you know, I like trains, but there's more to that train than just comes onto Gasparilla Island down there. I have been looking at that train and where it goes and what it does, and it goes all the way up through Port Charlotte, off of the island, all the way up through Port Charlotte, clear up to a place called Fort Ogden, where it looks like it ties into another railroad that's actually still there. But the one that comes off the island has been completely torn out of there, except for you can still see the tracks that it used to have in the woods. Well, the tracks have been taken up, but you know, the path is still there. The trees have not grown back onto the rock bed that it used to be on. So it's still there. And what the plan is I'm going to go fly a number of pieces of that. And there's an old trestle that goes across the Peace River that's out here on a little road called Senate. It's probably about an hour's ride from where we are. So I'm not going to sit here and run my jibs for the entire hour till we get there. I'm going to stop in a couple of places, try to get a couple of shots, try to fly the drone in a couple places, then we'll go up to the Peace River and we'll try to fly what's left of that trestle there. Oh, I forgot my knife. I was going to bring a big old knife in case I run across an alligator. I'm going to pull a little Crocodile Dundee thing here and wrestle an alligator if I have to, but I didn't. I forgot the daggum knife. Ow. So I guess if there's going to be a crocodile today, or I guess it's an alligator, whatever it is, got big teeth and it's ugly, and I'm going to end up running away from it. Yeah. Call me chicken if you have to. I am out and about on the bike doing just a little bit of something that is kind of a follow-on to my chasing after this Gasparilla Railroad. And this little place right over here is that exact thing. We're going to go in here because this is the railroad track right here. And I'm going to look at it pretty closely before I actually go out here. So we're going to shut the bike off and take a look real quick at what we've got. I mean, I really don't want to leave the bike here for any length of time. Let me open up my little mask here. This is the old railroad bed from the days when the train ran through here. I mean, it goes straight in every frickin' direction, and I guarantee they're not going to come here and build this kind of a thing just so people can walk it. Now, they might pave it, but it was already here. This railroad came through here quite a while ago. And I don't think I'm supposed to have motorized vehicles out here, but That is a long ways down to that train trestle, because it crosses a slough way the hell down there, and that's the one I want to get. Cape Hayes Pioneer Trail. Yeah. See right here where it goes over to Boca Grande and comes up, and then the red part of it is the Cape Hayes Trail. That is the old train track. Yeah. Yep. You are entering a natural area. Help protect the park. Follow these rules. Here's the one that's gonna mess you up right here. Motorized vehicles are not allowed except electric wheelchairs. I don't know if you can see in the mirror, there's nobody coming behind us. I'm not sure how far I gotta go to get to that slough, although it looks like a long ways when you're looking at it on Google Maps, but well, I want to come out here and fly my drone on this. We're getting a lot of people out here. Yeah, see, I don't want to go past a whole lot of people. Especially the women. Here comes some more. Now there's some behind me. Well, what is today? Wednesday? Yeah, I'll come out here in the day when it's not so busy. Probably got to get up at freaking 6 in the morning and come out here. Well, this is where I want to come and do it, so see, we're on Raintree Boulevard, and what we're going to do is we're going to go down here past Price and under 75, which is the freeway that's going to be coming up here. And when we get down there, because this right along this line of power lines right here, that's where the railroad used to run. We could probably stop this thing and go out there and look for evidence of a railroad track, but I honestly don't want to climb through all those freaking all that briars and bramble right there. we're going to stop up here because this thing just keeps going that way for, well, quite a ways, and then it starts to turn towards a little town called Fort Ogden. Anyway. Ah, nobody's driving the bike. Oh my God, it's a disaster. Now, I think that was probably before this freeway was here, that train came through here. But it ran right along this power line and just kept going off into the distance. You can see where they took all the trees out for a long damn ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop up here off the road. We got a little bit of an adventure planned here. I've never been out here before. Let's put my lid up here so I can see what I'm doing a little bit. Oh yeah, this is frickin', this is loose. Ah, that's loose sand right there. All right. Well, good grief, I didn't plan that. Well, you can see that there's been a swath cut out of this thing. This thing was built in between 1905 and 1907. Let me shut this thing off real quick here. I got music blaring in my ear, so I really don't know how loud I'm talking. Oh, there. Sure. Let's get off the bike. God, this thing's leaning way the hell over. How much do I trust this? God, I never trust this bike when it comes to there. I mean, I could put the drone up and get kind of a bird's eye view of what it looks like. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that. So as we climb out here, you'll be able to see that we have this straight swath that's been cut out of the vast wilderness of South Florida. It heads off in this direction towards Fort Ogden, and it goes in this direction for probably another 2 to 2.5 miles before it starts to make a gradual right-hand turn and head over towards Fort Ogden. Now it makes that turn just past some rather large storage tanks up here. You'll be able to get a better view of those storage tanks from our next point that we're going to fly from as we look back in this direction. Keep in mind that this train ran through here from 1907 all the way through 1979, and once they quit hauling phosphate down to the island, they started pulling it out of here in 1980. Now as we look off in this direction, that freeway wasn't there when the train was coming through here. We would head off in this direction towards the first city we would come to would have been Port Charlotte. The train went through that city and headed down towards the island, but before it got to that island, it went through that area that we rode on earlier, that little walking path that we were on. And then once it got past that, it went across a couple of rivers and then out onto the island and down to Port Boca Grande. Now from here, we're going to pack up the bike and head down Kings Highway to our next point of flight. All right, we're here. 761, we're going to go west on this. This will take us back over to Kings Highway. So here we go. Let's beat that big truck because I certainly don't want to be behind him. See him coming there? Yeah, isn't that nice? Okay, well, there's not a lot of people that come in here But what I'd be talking about is flying a pretty good distance out there, because that right behind this guy's property in those woods is where that train makes its corner and heads over towards the... So I would have to get up. I mean, I could do this. Probably not a bad idea. Why don't we do this? Let's turn the blinker off, turn this Hummer around here, put it over here. I'm going to fly the drone. I'm not sure what kind of footage I'm going to get. I'm going to go off in that direction. I just want to see the corner where it turns. Anyway, I'll be back. All right, as we start to gain a little bit of altitude here as we're flying over this guy's property, we'll be able to see the tracks that are just past his cleared land and inside of the tree line. This direction is off towards Fort Ogden that we're looking, and the Peace River. We'll be going over there to fly next. Now, the property that I was referring to, that guy's property, is just to the right here, and that lake is part of it. But you can see the train as it goes through this little clearing right here, right to the left side of that lake. You'll notice the trees grow back very quickly when you get close to water like the lake here. But those tanks were the ones that you could see from way down where we were before, when we were looking up in this direction. And this track runs right below us here and off in this direction and starts curving off to the right and heading through the vast expanse of the Florida wilderness, which is mostly palm trees, as a matter of fact. Now, as we make this corner, I often wondered why they didn't cut this corner just a little bit tighter than they did, or maybe come up here just another couple of 100 yards farther so that they could miss this great big sinkhole that's sitting right here. I call it a sinkhole. It could be just a tiny little lake, but it doesn't matter. They cut that corner at the perfect angle, and they had to build another little bridge across this little waterway right in front of us here. But then it continues on, and that river you see up there is the Peace River, and then beyond that is Fort Ogden, and we're going to fly up there next. There's a lovely trestle just crossing that river just ahead of us there. And this is all that's left of this railroad track bed right here. We're actually sitting right behind that barn over there on that little road right there. So anyway, let's pack up the bike and take us a ride over to the Peace River and take a look at that little trestle that crosses the river. All right, we figured it out. We're looking for Senate was the road that I was supposed to bring off of 17, and then I would follow it down until we got to a place called River. Well, River is right up here. So we're going to go up here and go take a right on River Road. We're looking for River Road. Yeah, I think I saw River Road back here, and I didn't realize it was River that I was looking for. So we're going to go back to it and take a right on it. Is this it here? Might be. Might be. The Fort Ogden School. This is probably either the elementary or the junior high or something. River. This is our road right here. We're going this way. This road goes all the way out, it goes all the way out to that train trestle. So, we're going out there. This is kind of a neat little place out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure where this guy's going. There's a guy in front of me. Don't know who he is or what he's doing, but we're kind of going in this direction too. Kind of off here in the boonies. This is way off in Booneyville, USA here. I'll tell you what. There's going to be a couple of properties out here that there's houses on. We're going to go past them. We're going to the end of the road. The road will just end. See, there's somebody still driving out there. You can't see him on this video, but I can see him way out there. I'll open this up so I can get a little air in here. I'm not going very fast. Somebody's got some money into their fence right here. This is all vinyl. Just so you know, this is alligator country out here. Everything is so wet. Once you get off the road, there's ditches that are just full of water. They're kind of hard to see, but they got water in them, and we're coming up on the Peace River out here. There's probably going to be a house over here on our right somewhere, because I've seen it on Google Maps. See, all these places are blocked off. This guy's turning around. So we'll just sit here and wait for him to do that. Why is this all blocked off like this? I wonder how far it is out to the river, because I don't want to fly too far. Alright. Dang. Okay, well, I am proceeding with caution here because I have gone off of the road, which is just out there, and I've come back onto this thing here, and this thing is the old railroad bed. The tracks used to run along here, and if I follow this to the end, which I don't really want to do because I'm really afraid of alligators, because there are a lot of them around here. So I'm watching very carefully for any movement. I think it ends right here. So we're going to kind of go down here just a little bit. This looks like where people spend a lot of time turning around. still recording. You seeing what I'm seeing right here? We're going to park this thing right here, and I'm going to fly from right daggum here. This is the Peace River right here. And this is the old railroad trestle that they built back in the early part of the 1900s. Yep. We're going to stop right here for a couple minutes, and I'm going to investigate the area just a little bit, because I don't want any wild creatures sneaking up on me. I need to use one of these old stones that used to play with the railroad here. God, look at this thing, leans over so badly. I'm going to stick a rock underneath that kickstand. It still goes in. Anyway, this is, I'll tell you straight up, I've messed around with this area enough to know that there are alligators around here. This is freshwater. This is alligator country. Anyway, we're going to go down here and get a little bit of a video of this. And then I'm going to fly it. A lot of people have been here. I mean, look at this thing. It's cool. What I'm going to do is throw the drone up in the air here, and we're going to go off in that direction a little ways, go up a little bit. I want to come flying through here and get this. So stand by while I download my drone. Look at this lovely thing. This is what they call the Peace River. And that is the road that I was trying to take all the way to the river, but was blocked off. That is called River Road. Now that railroad came right alongside of us here on the right along the edge of this side of the river, and it crossed the river right here. This is all that's left of the train trestle that crosses the Peace River here. And you'll notice that they cut a big chunk out of it here. Once the railroad turned this over to the state of Florida, the state came through and had to cut big chunks out of those railroads so that fishermen and recreational boaters would have access to get past here without having to snake between the little pilings underneath of it. So wherever you go in the state, they've either used these train trestles as fishing piers, or they've just let them deteriorate like this and cut big chunks out of them so that boats can get through there. Now the water that runs through this river looks very much like the water that might run through any river in, say, Africa, like the Amazon River, where, you know, millions of wildebeests would come trying to cross the river, and they'd be inundated by alligators and crocodiles trying to eat them. Yeah, well, I've run across some crocodiles, well, not crocodiles, but alligators in this area, and they've scared the crap out of me. So I'm kind of leery and very careful when I come into the areas just like this. But check out this trestle. This is all that's left of it. There are a number of these all the way down to the island where it crosses different sloughs and rivers. But when you get next to a river like this, the trees grow back a lot quicker than they would if you're way out in the middle of nowhere and there's no water around other than, say, it raining on the track. But you can still kind of see, because the trees are a little bit smaller where the train tracks used to be alongside the river, but you can actually see the track bed itself once you get away from the river. And you can see that barn over there where we flew from last time, and we were looking off in this direction from there. This is actually a very cool trestle. I really enjoyed coming out here and flying this thing. You can tell that it's been kind of not used for a long time. I mean, on the right-hand side, look at how big that tree is, and it is growing smack dab in the middle of where that railroad would be. That thing's a very old tree, probably 40 years or better. I'm sitting under it, actually flying right here. This was a great flight. Thanks for hanging out with me. We went out on a little adventure today as kind of a follow-up to my Gasparilla, Boca Grande Island train video that I made a couple of weeks back. That train doesn't just end at the end of that island, it actually goes somewhere. So what I've been doing is following it, and this little adventure we were on today is the other end of that, where it goes to. I can follow it up here to where it ties into another railroad that's still in place. So what I did was I followed it up. I took a few aerial videos from places that you could see where the tracks used to be. Keep in mind that this railroad was pulled out of here back in 1980, and there's not much left of it. It went winding through the jungle of South Florida down here, and I followed it quite a ways through the jungle of South Florida, and I flew a couple of pretty cool things. I just hope they turn out really well. So I'm going to probably put this together as a little bit of a follow-on video as to where this thing goes, just so people can kind of see that it wasn't just on the island of Gasparilla.